What I really enjoy is working in the international team.
Despite the language barriers, everyone tried very hard to be able to communicate.
And what draws me in was working for a product with a lot of users that have a huge impact.
Hello everyone, it's time for MET, Mercari Engineering Today. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jessie.
Jessie, I didn't know you had glasses. I've never seen you wear them in the studio.
These old things, well, I decided to change it up a little bit, I'm trying something fresh. I've always loved working in this field. And I guess you could say I finally got a chance to shine.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm proud to announce that I, Jessie, am now a MET correspondent. I'm interviewing Mercari engineers from around the world.
Wait, you? Jessie? Interviewing people? Am I hearing this right? There has to be some kind of a mistake.
Let's take a look at the following clip. Hello everyone, welcome to The Jessie Show. I'm Jessie and I'm very excited to announce that today is our very first episode. I've always dreamt of getting my own talk show. The dream is real, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm very honored for this fantastic experience. Today's topic is Mercari engineers from around the world. The Tokyo office now has members from over 40 different countries, and the ratio of global members in the engineering organization has grown to almost 50%. In other words, Mercari transformed from a small startup into a multicultural company in a very short span of time. So today I'll be talking with two engineers who have decided to make the bold move to Japan and work for Mercari. Now please welcome today's special guests, Diogo and Norbert. Hi, Diogo, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Please make yourself comfortable. Before we start, I thought we might have a little snack break. I've been recently obsessed with this Japanese dessert. And just wait here a second, I'll go and get it. Ta-da! This is dorayaki, and this is very famous in this area that the studio's in, and that's where I picked this up. Please dig in, dig in.
Oishi.
Well, I'm very glad that you both enjoyed this dorayaki. Anyways, let's get right on to the program. Diogo, could you introduce yourself?
My name is Diogo Silva. I come from Brazil. I'm a software engineer and tech lead on the metadata team.
Excellent. And Norbert, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Norbert Preining from Vienna, Austria.
I came here a few years, like 14 years ago.
14?
Yes, 14.
You did just a few years ago, yeah.
Originally, I'm a mathematician and computer science, worked at the university, and now I'm working on AI, machine learning, and
Testing, improving of testing.
Machine learning, does that mean Mercari knows that I bought a banjo last year and it's going to suggest to me like other musical instruments?
Very close to what you just said. This is what we call recommendation systems, and that is, one of the points.
Wow. Where do you live in Japan?
I live in Ishikawa Prefecture. It's on the other side of the island towards the Japanese Sea.
Diogo, where do you live in Japan?
I live in Tokyo.
Tokyo. So you just woke up this morning and rolled out of bed and came here?
Exactly.
Tell us about your neighborhood. What's it like? Are there any good restaurants?
I moved to a quieter neighborhood recently, so I guess what we mostly have there is like picnics or things to do outside that can give us a chill time.
Yeah, do you both do the Mercari Your Choice?
Yeah, definitely. If you want to work from a different place for a week or so, that flexibility is very nice to be able to fully enjoy our stay here in Japan.
Nice.
Yes, in my case, since I live like an hour with the airplane away, I cannot come daily to the office. Somehow natural that I take this choice. Yes, so that's very useful and very nice that I can work from home. I still come to Tokyo regularly because for face-to-face meetings, but I enjoy it a lot to stay in the nature environment where I lived.
Yeah, so you can have the balance of city and nature. Well, it sounds like you both have a pretty sweet setup at Mercari. What kind of made you decide that you wanted to work for Mercari?
So when I was looking for companies in Japan, I saw that Mercari had already this very international culture. It's very similar to a lot of other international companies outside of Japan. So the decision to come to Mercari specifically was part of, it would be less of a shock and would be a more familiar work environment that I already had in Brazil. And Mercari sounded like the best one.
A colleague I knew from more than 20 years ago happened to move very close to where I live now. And I was surprised because he was working for big tech companies in the US. And I said, what are you doing here in the countryside of Japan? I said, I'm working for Mercari. And I said, oh, wow. And what are you doing? And said, oh, we are doing a lot of AI. And so I got interested. And what draws me in was the combination of working for a product with a lot of users, so a lot of responsibility, the ability to use AI and develop programs, develop services that have a huge impact. So that drove me into Mercari.
Did you have any culture shock when you first came to Japan?
Biggest culture shock probably was in 2001 when I came the very first time to Japan onto a conference in Tsukuba, and I ended up late at night on the bus stop in Tsukuba with completely dark, without any Japanese and no way to go, no taxi. So that was a big culture shock, but that has changed considerable now. And so when I moved here permanently, I knew already the area, and so it wasn't that big of a culture shock.
Diogo, how about you?
Yeah, I guess the biggest was also first time when I came to Japan was like getting out of the airplane and suddenly you don't understand anything around you because of Japanese.
It's almost like it's a different language. All right, now that we've got a chance to talk to you guys a bit and understand a little bit about your background, let's move on to the next segment called Let's Get Talking. In this segment, I will have you both pick out a random question from this box and you will answer it as truthfully as you can.
Scary.
You should be shaking in your slippers. All right, I will pass this to Diogo.
Let's go. What do you find the most rewarding about your job at Mercari? I guess what I really enjoy is that Mercari has such a big user base, so many people using Mercari every day, and then whatever project we deliver, as soon as we deliver, we can see the users immediately using it, we can see impact on the day-to-day life.
What I really enjoy is working in the international team with a lot of mixture, a lot of locals, a lot of international guests, because that is very much inspiring and challenging. And as Diogo said, also that you work at something that has a real impact. If you make something really good, it has a very strong positive impact because we have a lot of users. And so everything we do really has a direct impact. And that is something that is very rewarding in our work as engineers. So what is the one thing that surprises you in the Japanese culture? Difficult question. After so many years, not many things surprises me anymore. But probably that many decisions are actually taken before the meetings. So lots of preparation has to go into finding a consensus and a decision making. So that means that for us as engineers, we still have to have a lot of social qualities to, well, get into contact with everyone and get the agreements that we can move forward, because we cannot just push it through with force.
So that's like the work culture.
Yeah. Despite the language barriers that we have when we don't know Japanese yet and so on, everyone tries very hard to be able to communicate. Everyone makes a huge effort. I was expecting to have even more of a hard time communicating with other people that don't speak English or that need more Japanese, but that was not as hard as I expected. So I guess that effort in communicating outside your language got me by surprise.
What is your favorite Japanese food?
Tonkatsu ramen.
Tonkatsu ramen.
Tonkatsu ramen. Yes, that's the best.
My favorite food, Japanese food, is sansai tempura. So these are wild vegetables, often sprouts from trees, and then you cook them into either tempuras or deep fried. This is my favorite, because that is very uncommon in Austria. Slightly bitter taste, very large variety of tastes, excellent stuff.
Delicious. Well, maybe I'll have some ramen with sansai tempura on the side.
What should I do with this question? There's a strange face on it.
How did that get in there? Well, that's the wild card, my friend. That's the wild card.
Okay.
You are going to ask Diogo a question. Any question.
What do you miss most from your original life back in Rio?
Good one. Apart from, obviously, family and friends that we live there, the food back in Brazil, in Rio, it's something else. We have a great variety. We have a lot of fruits and a lot of fruit-based dessert that's like in another level. Very different kinds of food in that sense that we don't have here in Japan. That's what I miss the most.
Lastly, can you both give a short message or like some advice to anybody who might be thinking about coming to Japan to work?
Don't be scared. It's much easier than everyone thinks. Of course, there are language barriers, but especially if one works in a company, in an international company like Mercari, there is so much backup and help and a lot of community within the people working here. So nobody has to be scared to come to such a remote and language-wise difficult country. We have a lot of support for improving the communication, for, as you mentioned before, also for language courses. So there is a lot of great support, and I think that makes help coming and arriving and living here very easy for people.
If I can, I would actually just double down on that. Really what I see, many people miss coming here because they are afraid or they are scared somehow. But yeah, especially if you come to Mercari, there is so much support, just make it so much easier. And you should just try. It will be a nice experience. Maybe in a few years you decide something else, but at least you had that experience, you lived in Japan, and it's amazing.
All right, well, that's all for today. Great pleasure to meet you both. Thank you for coming all
Thanks
this
a lot.
way.
Thank you.
See you next time on The Jesse Show. Bye!
Bye!
You guys got to eat dorayaki? I love dorayaki. I don't believe you ate it without me.
Should have been there, Mike.
Unbelievable. They had dorayaki.
Are you jealous?
I gotta admit, I'm jealous.
Jealous of what?
Your talk show? What's it called, The Jesse Show?
So I'm guessing you want your own talk show now, is that it?
Yeah.
What would it be called? The Jealous Mike Show?
Well, I mean, no, we'd need a cooler title than that.
See you next time.